One of the biggest concerns people have on the spiritual path is what happens when you're with someone who isn't interested in spirituality? What happens when you have a partner who isn't on the same spiritual path as you?
Yeah, it definitely creates issues of judgment. You start feeling maybe superior or inferior. You start feeling unequal. And because spirituality is such an important part of your life, and you don't see your partner paying as much importance to it, you're obviously going to grow quite a few concerns, and that's what we're hoping to be able to explore and acknowledge here. The first thing you want to avoid is pressuring your partner into having the same spiritual beliefs as you, in walking on the same path. It doesn't honor their own choice, it doesn't honor their free will, and it's imposing an unnecessary burden onto them that's not going to make them very receptive to listening to the message when the time is right. The second thing you want to avoid doing is asserting negative judgment on your partner for not being who you want them to be, or not being in the place that you want them to be. One thing we have to understand is that the spiritual journey is it's a very long journey. It has many different parts and stages of it, and not everyone is ready to embark on it. And you have to respect that. You have to learn to know that they're where they need to be at this time, and all you can do is hold space, offer them support, care for them, love them. And when the time is right, all these qualities that you're offering them will make them feel safe enough and inclined enough to choose to explore this spiritual path with you, if that's how the journey decides it's going to unfold.
Yeah. The third thing to not do when your partner is not walking the spiritual path is to expect them to be something other than what they are, to carry this rose-tinted ideal of who they should ideally be. This is not only destructive, but it's also disrespectful to them, because they have the right to be at the level that they are. And if life wills it, if their soul wills it, and they will naturally grow and mature into their own spiritual path themselves. You just got to give them space and time. So the fourth thing not to do is to not exclusively depend on your partner for all of your spiritual nourishment. You'd be surprised how many people depend on their partner for everything, for all of their happiness, all of their sustenance, all of their joy, all of their fulfillment. And while it's important to connect with your partner on many levels, if your partner is not interested in spirituality, you can't look at them, you can't realistically expect them to be your buddy, be your companion on this journey. It might be difficult to accept, but it's something you need to face and realize that you can't depend on your partner on that way. So instead, it's important to look to other people for that sustenance, to help you and to support you on your path. For example, you might like to find a group online of spiritual seekers, or maybe a group nearby of fellow spiritual seekers who can help and support you.
So now what to do? The first thing you can do is lead by example. Don't try to convert people into your beliefs. It's quite annoying to most people. Instead, walk the walk and talk the talk. Lead by example, and that way you inspire them. When they see you, how much you progress, when they see how much you've grown, when they see all these new qualities that you're bringing into the relationship, they'll be inspired to want to have some of that in their own lives personally. And that's when you can offer some space for them to explore that. The second thing you can do is try to find and focus on similarities. This is where sometimes it's also important to find common projects together, or find things that you have in common. Anything that can serve as a project outside of the spiritual world, common hobbies, all these things will help you still feel connected, still stay strongly bonded within the relationship, without feeling the stress of having to rely solely on that spiritual quality to keep you both oriented in the same direction. The third thing you can do is regularly express your sense of commitment, your sense of love, your sense of affection toward your partner. This creates a strong sense of trust in the relationship, and in doing that, you really make yourself open and available to have the other person see you as a source of learning, as a source of inspiration, of wanting to adopt maybe some of your spiritual tools or beliefs when they feel comfortable with it. But just that sense of strength in connection is what's going to make all the magic happen in a relationship.
The next thing to do when your partner is not walking a spiritual path is to remember that your relationship itself is a school of life. Your partner is your teacher. There are so many things you can learn from your partner, regardless of what place they are in life. Your partner mirrors all of your strengths and also all of your shadows, all of your weaknesses. And I think we don't often realize the power and potential of our relationships. And particularly when you're in a close romantic relationship with someone, it has that innate power and potential to be a catalyst for your growth. And finally, honor where your partner is at in life. Seek to meet them at an equal level. It's important to realize that you are both at different parts in the spiral of growth, and it's okay to be at different levels. In fact, there's no real way of measuring how more advanced you are than them and how more advanced they are than you. In some areas of life, your partner might be more developed and more mature than you are, and in other parts of life you might be more mature than they are. And so just acknowledge that and remember that you're both equals, and no matter where you are on your spiritual path, it doesn't make you better, it doesn't make you worse than them. It just makes you at a different place. At the end of the day, if your partner has the ability to love you, that itself is the most spiritual thing. If your partner has the ability to open their hearts, that is spiritual. It doesn't matter what spiritual path they are walking or not walking. All that matters in the end is love. And I think that is crucial to remember. So in conclusion, I want to leave you with a thought. If your relationship is healthy and respectful and based on love and trust, then it is innately spiritual. It doesn't need to look like the Instagram-worthy idea and image of a spiritual partnership or relationship. It doesn't need to look like any of these idealistic, people who go and meditate together and do yoga together. That's not for everyone. It's okay to have a relationship that is unique to you. It's okay to be at different levels on life's path.
Yeah, your spiritual path doesn't depend on where your partner's at. It depends on whether or not you're willing to learn how to relate to yourself, how to relate to your partner. You both are willing to learn how to relate to each other, and in doing so, you also both learn how to relate to life. Because that really is the purpose of relationships. It's to learn to relate, whether relating to people, relating to existence, relating to nature, relating to everything. The more you can relate, the more fluid you are in your ability to be with the presence of whatever it is that you're experiencing. That's what true spirituality is about.
So if you liked this video, feel free to like and share it with someone who you feel might benefit from listening to these words. And also feel free to let us know in the comments what tips you have for making a non-spiritual relationship work. What advice do you have to offer? We'd love to hear in the comments.
Yeah.